Hello everyone, my name is Prakash Sakari. I am a research engineer and teacher at BotLab Learning LLP. Okay, so in this video, we are going to learn how to convert a Python file into an executable file. So I have taught you how to convert a Python file into an executable file, and whatever I've taught you in the class, that you can use for the snake game. You can convert that snake game using the same methods that I had taught you all. So you can convert the snake game into an executable file and share it with anyone. And you can convert all the remaining codes as well into an executable file and share it with anyone. But when we are working on images, especially when we use Pygame module and when we import some images, so to convert the Python file into an executable file, using the same method, it doesn't work. That is what the error everyone has. So in this video, we'll see how to figure that out and why we get all of those error. And I'll tell you why do we get those errors and how we can resolve those errors. So for that, first, what we'll do is first we'll just create a folder and we'll put the Flappy Bird Python file and the images and the audio file into that same folder. So over here, I've created a folder. So this is your course tutorials, everything like the Space Invaders game, the snake game, and then the ping pong ball game. So I've created one separate folder for the Flappy Bird game, named as Flappy Bird. If I open this folder, so I have the Python code. Okay, I have the Python code over here, and I have these audio files and these images as well. So you have to make a folder like this. Second thing, what we have to do is then we have to open the command prompt. So you can open the command prompt directly. There's no need of opening the PowerShell that I taught you. So we can directly open the command prompt. So to do that, you just have to click on over here, type here to search, and just search over here for command prompt. Okay, and you'll find this command prompt over here. Okay, just open the command prompt. That is what we have to do. Okay, if you cannot find the command prompt using this method, what you can do is you can press the Windows key and the R button. Windows key and the R key. Just hold the Windows key, press the R button, and then over here you just have to type CMD. So if you search for CMD, it will again open the same command prompt. Over here, what we have to do is over here. Okay, so now before doing something in the command prompt, we have to make a small change in the code. Okay, the error was happening because of that thing only. So what we have to do is we have to open the code. So I'll open our Flappy Bird code. Okay, so this is the code of the Flappy Bird that we had written. So the error is basically what is happening is now basically it is we have to provide a path to it so that it understands these images and this text as well. So that is why what did we do is we created a folder. So the reason of creating the folder is so the executable file will be created in this folder only, and whichever the folder the executable file is created, we will put all these images into that folder as well. So it knows the path. So when we run that executable file, it knows the path or the location or the directory where the images are stored. So that is the aim. Like if a folder is created, like the dist folder that gets created. So if it gets created, it will have the application. So we'll put all of these images into that file. But there's one thing that we cannot put is the text. Okay, one thing that we cannot put is this the font. Sorry, the font, not the text. The font is what we cannot put into that folder because this font is coming from the Pygame module. So what we can do over here is we have to use a different font. Okay, so I figured out one more method wherein we don't have to download any other font. So what we can do is there is a function called as system font in the Pygame module. There's a function called as system font in the Pygame module. So we are going to use that only. So over here in the define welcome message and in the define show score, where there is this font. So I'll just change this line of code. This first line of code, I'll just change this line of code to text underscore font is equal to pygame dot font dot font, instead of font, I will use a system font. The system font, I'll write SYS. The system font is the font that is there in our machine. So like the Calibri or Times New Roman or sans serif or Arial, Veranda, whatever it is. So what I'll do is I'll just change this free sans bold.ttf to Calibri. You can use any other font like Times New Romans, or for Times New Romans, you can just write Times. It will work. Then you can also, instead of this, you can also choose Arial. Then you can choose Times as well. Okay, this is what I know. And sans serif, this is one more thing that I know. So I'll just go with Calibri. Okay. And in the same way, over here also have to change this as well. I'll change this to Calibri. Okay, why are we doing this? Is because see, when you create an executable file, you have to mention everything for the executable file. You have to mention the images. You have to also mention the audio files as well, or if there's any other thing as well. So for that is why I created a folder for this. And then what I'll do is I'll add all of these images and the audio files as well. I'll add the audio files and the images into the folder where the executable file will be created. Okay. I won't be adding the code, but I'll just add the images and the audio file into the folder where the executable file will be created. But the problem is that I cannot add the font. I cannot add the font that we were using earlier, free sans bold.ttf. So so what I'm doing, I'm just using the system font. So if I use system font, I don't need to add the system font because system font is the built-in font. So basically by using system font, the work becomes easier. So we'll just save it. We just run and check it whether it works. So I'll just save and click on run. So you'll see that the font probably will change to something else, not the regular font. Okay, so the font now has changed. So it still works. Okay, so this is what I wanted to test. Okay. So now what are we going to do is, since we have opened command prompt, let me just close this code and then close this code. Don't keep it open, close the code. And then I'll open the command prompt. And over here, what I'll write is, I'll write PyInstaller. Then the name of the, okay, no. So before writing this, I have to come into this directory. I have to come into this folder. So in the command prompt as well, I have to specify the folder where the code is. I cannot directly write PyInstaller space, then the name of the code, that is flappy underscore bird underscore game .py. I cannot directly do this because what will it do? It will search it in this directory, which is the C drive, and in C drive there is a folder called as users. In users there is a folder called as HP. So it will search over there. But my code is in this folder. So how can I do it? I'll show you. How we change the location in command prompt is I'll click on this arrow over here, the arrow that you can see over here. Then I'll just simply copy this path. So it is highlighted in blue. I'll click Control C to copy, or Command C if you're using Mac. Just press Control C, copy this path. After copying this path, over here, we first have to write CD space and then Control V. Okay, now if you see, and then you can just press Enter. CD, C. If you press Enter, then now the location has changed. So it is C, then in C there is users, HP, desktop, then EI Python course is the name of the folder, and then Flappy Bird is also the name of the folder in which my code is there. Okay, so now what I can do is, now I can write PyInstaller space the name of the file. Okay, now it's a different method. For Pygame it is a different method, but for the rest you can use the same method that I've taught you in the class. You can use it for snake game and all the codes, but when it comes for images, you have to do it in this way. Even for ping pong game, you can use the previous method, it will work. Now how to do for Pygame? PyInstaller space the name of the file, flappy underscore bird underscore game .py, and then after that, okay, now there are two things. There is called as one file and one directory. One file basically will just create one executable file, but if we use one directory, it creates many files. So we'll use one file it will just pack everything in one file. But if I use one directory, that is one dir for directory, it will create multiple files. So we don't want multiple files. We'll just write one file. And then we don't even want something called as console. What is console? This black color window is called as a Python console. Okay, this is a command prompt. In the same way for the Python as well, Python also has its own console. So it's a black color window. So we don't want the window. We just want the game to come. So we'll write no console. Okay. Py installer, flappy underscore board underscore game.py, one file, no console. If I press enter, so it takes some time. So if you see already there are some files that have been created in the background. If you see there is the dist folder, build folder is being created. It will take some time, probably like 30, 40 seconds or a minute or so, depending on the speed of your laptop. So if your laptop is slow, it might take 2-3 minutes. If it is fast, it may take like 20-30 seconds. So mine is like medium speed. Okay, so it's working. Even if you get all of these warnings, don't worry about these warnings, as it will still work. These warnings basically come because we have selected the option of no console. That is why we get these warnings. Let me just show you what the Python console also is. If I have it over here, then I'll show. Okay, so if you see that, and now if I search for Python, I get this Python 3.7 64-bit. If I just click on Python, so if I just double click on this, I'll get this black color window. See, it looks same like the command prompt. So this is a Python console. So we don't want this. It's of no use for us. So that's why we selected the Python no console. We just want the executable file. It's almost done. I think it will take 10-15 more seconds, not minutes, and then it will be done. Okay, so and then at last you'll get this thing called as building exe from exe-00.poc completed successfully. And then you'll also get again the same location that we had created, see users and all of those things. So when you come to this, then you know that the file has been created. So you just have to close this. Okay, so the executable file, so it creates basically three folders. The build folder, nothing is, the build folder is of no use for us. The dist folder, and then one more file called as a spec file, which has the spec file basically has uh, those path for the images and the audio files. That is what it has. So the disk folder is basically of our interest. So in this disk folder, what we have to do is, in this disk folder, we just have to simply copy all of these things, all of the images. We just have to copy all of these images. So I'll just copy them one by one. So if you're wondering how am I doing it like this, so just press the control key and then click on this using the mouse or the touchpad. So just copy the images, don't copy the code, okay? Just copy the images and the audio file, copy it, and then put it in the disk folder. Copy it and put it in the disk folder. That's it. I'll just refresh it if there's an option. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, now I'll try to run it. Let's see, let's hope that works. So for this, I'll just double click on this. I hope it works. Okay, it takes some time, okay, to open. Oh, wow, great, it's done. So it takes some time, like 2-3 seconds. It's because of the module as well. If you remember, whenever you run a Pygame code, it takes some time. So now if I play it, so it's working. Okay, cool. The audio is also coming. Okay. So the audio is also coming. Okay. So I'll just close it. That's it. I hope you understood all this. Just keep on, just follow every step that I've taught you, and then you are good to go. But the previous thing that I've taught you, it's not incorrect. The thing is that it doesn't work with the images thing, because it's a different instruction, and this one uses a different instruction. So the previous method that I've taught you will definitely work for Python files which doesn't have any images, like the snake game. Then you can convert the snake game, you can convert the ping pong game to an executable file using the previous method. You can also convert all the codes, like the guess the number game or the calculator or all the different things. You can just convert all of them as well, okay, using that method that I've taught you in the class. And this is the second method. I hope you understood. Thank you. Bye bye. See you.